He was born in a poor mountain village, but rose to become the most feared drug lord on earth. From jungle hideouts to golden AKs, from underground tunnels to maximum security prison cells, and back out again. He didn't just break the law, he rewrote it. Brief pause, then rise in intensity. This is the story of Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán, the man who escaped justice not once, but twice, and built an empire so powerful, even the cartels feared him. Joaquín Guzmán was born in 1957 in a poor mountain village called Latuna in the state of Sinaloa, Mexico. His father was a cattle rancher with ties to opium poppy cultivation. El Chapo, meaning shorty for his height, grew up with little schooling and few options. But even as a teenager, he showed ambition. He sold oranges, then marijuana, and by his early 20s, he had already joined the Guadalajara Cartel, led by drug pioneer Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. Guzmán was quiet, but deadly. His mind worked like a machine, always planning, always ruthless. When the cartel fell apart in the late 80s, El Chapo didn't just survive. He built an empire of his own. In the power vacuum left behind, El Chapo co-founded the Sinaloa Cartel, which would go on to become the most powerful drug trafficking organization on earth. Smuggling routes were secured, bribes flowed like rivers, and Guzmán pioneered tunnel trafficking, underground systems that crossed the US border unseen by the law. His influence reached across the globe: Colombia, the US, Europe, and Asia. By the early 2000s, he was making billions. But what made El Chapo dangerous wasn't just the drugs. It was his ability to disappear and reappear, stronger than before. With Mexico's criminal world fractured, El Chapo co-founded the Sinaloa Cartel and transformed it into the largest drug trafficking organization in the world. Cocaine from Colombia, meth from super labs, heroin from poppy fields. But what set El Chapo apart was innovation. He built multi-million-dollar tunnels under the US-Mexico border, ventilated, lit, and invisible. He used trains, submarines, planes, and even commercial pepper cans to hide narcotics. With billions flowing in, he bribed officials, police, military, even top government ministers. The cartel operated like a shadow government, with hitmen, informants, accountants, and even chemists. In 1993, El Chapo was arrested in Guatemala and sent to Puente Grande, a high-security Mexican prison. But prison meant nothing to him. He continued to lead the cartel from inside, using guards, lawyers, and coded messages. Then, in 2001, he vanished. Some say he escaped hidden in a laundry cart. Others claim the guards simply opened the door for him. What we do know is, El Chapo bought his way out. The manhunt began, but El Chapo was already gone. Into the mountains, protected by loyalists and corrupt officials. For over a decade, El Chapo was untouchable. He ruled from the hills of Sinaloa, surrounded by bodyguards, snipers, and locals who worshipped him. In those years, he became a myth, a ghost who never slept in the same place twice. A billionaire with private zoos, gold-plated AK-47s, and dozens of safe houses rigged with secret tunnels. And while governments searched, he flooded the US with drugs, over 300 tons of cocaine moved under his command. The DEA called him Public Enemy Number 1. In 2014, Mexican Marines raided a beachfront condo in Mazatlan and caught him asleep. He was sent to Altiplano, Mexico's most secure prison. They thought the story was over. Politicians smiled for cameras. They were wrong, because El Chapo was just getting started. On July 11th, 2015, cameras inside his cell saw him walk into the shower. He vanished. He escaped from Altiplano prison through a tunnel 1 mile long. Dug directly beneath his cell, specifically into his little CCTV camera, black zone. Under the floor, a tunnel over 1 mile long, stretching from a construction site outside the prison. Inside the tunnel, ventilation systems, fluorescent lights, a custom-built motorcycle on rails. It took over a year to build, and no one noticed. It was genius. It was madness. It was El Chapo. And just like that, he disappeared again. The escape was broadcast across the world. Once again, El Chapo had vanished into the dirt. January 8, 2016. The sky over Los Mochis, Sinaloa, was still black. A city of quiet rooftops and dusty streets slept beneath the stars. But not everyone was asleep. Inside a plain-looking safe house on the edge of town, the most wanted man in the world was hiding. Joaquín Guzmán, known to the world as El Chapo. He had escaped prison twice. He had ruled $1 billion cartel from mountaintops and tunnels. But what brought him down was not a soldier, or a spy, or a bullet. It was pride. After his dramatic escape from Altiplano prison in 2015, El Chapo wanted to control his story. He reached out to a Mexican actress, Kate Del Castillo, and arranged a meeting with American actor Sean Penn. He wanted a film made about his life. The drug lord wanted to be a movie star. What he didn't realize was that every message he sent, every phone he touched, every location he visited, was being watched. Mexican and US authorities had been waiting, quietly, patiently, and now the net was closing. On January 8, 2016, before dawn, the Mexican Marines launched Operation Black Swan. They surrounded the safe house in Los Mochis. Heavily armed and moving fast, they breached the front door. Gunfire erupted. Cartel guards fought back viciously. 5 were killed in the shootout. 1 Marine was wounded, but El Chapo was gone. In the confusion, he had escaped, slipping through a hidden trapdoor in the bathroom floor. Beneath the house, a tunnel led into the city's underground sewer system. He vanished again, just like he had so many times before. But this time, things were different. He wasn't in the mountains. He wasn't surrounded by loyal villagers. He was in a city, out in the open, running out of space. El Chapo surfaced through a manhole on a nearby street. Wet, covered in mud, he hijacked a car at gunpoint and tried to drive away. But the road was blocked. Federal police intercepted him on the highway. There were no tunnels left, no bribes, no escape. Joaquín Guzmán Lora was finally under federal police arrest. Handcuffed, silent, caged. He was extradited to the United States on January 19, 2017. Jury selection began on November 5, 2018 in Brooklyn under unprecedented security. Trial start date was on November 13, 2018. Trial ended on February 12, 2019. The trial revealed horrors. Witnesses testified to murders, child trafficking, torture. He had paid $100 million in bribes to a former Mexican president. His cartel killed rivals using acid, fire, and public displays. In 2019, Joaquín Guzmán was found guilty on all 10 counts. He was sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years. And the man who had once ruled a kingdom built on tunnels is now buried in concrete and steel inside ADX Florence. El Chapo now lives in ADX Florence, Colorado, a supermax prison, 23 hours a day in total isolation, 1 hour of air, alone, no visitors, no escape, no future. There would be no third escape. El Chapo Guzmán ruled through fear, tunnels, and bribes. He turned crime into industry and vanished whenever the world closed in. But in the end, every king runs out of land, and every ghost leaves a shadow. You've been watching Behind the Crime, where truth cuts deeper than myth. Subscribe now, because in our world, the darkness is never far behind.